Well, there's a lot of you out today. I haven't got time to chat, but I do have a quick question for you. I watched your meeting on Sunday about the child abuse and all the rest of that stuff. Quick question, after listening to that, are you elders or are you normal, just rank and file? If you personally had a child come to you now and say that they had been abused by somebody in the congregation, who would you report it to?
Well, you've seen the meeting,
Yes.
so you know what we would do.
Well, the meeting says that you'll ring up the legal department.
At the legal department, we'd follow through with the legal advice that we have, yeah. But we're interested in protecting children, I'm sure you are. That's the first priority. But actually, every Jehovah's Witness is free to report something they hear.
Yeah. Could I just quote something from the Watchtower? Thank you for talking to me, by the way.
That's okay.
It's saying that.
I think you spoke to our sisters.
I've spoken to a lot of you. Yeah. Without going into it, it affected me in Newton Abbot, Kingdom Hall when I was young. So this is of great interest to me.
Yeah.
Okay. What I'd like to say.
That's okay. I'm Chris, by the way.
I'm Daniel. Very nice to meet you. Now, here's the thing. In that Watchtower, I think it's like paragraph 4 or 5, and I listened to the whole thing. I went through the Q&A. I did all of it. It says our primary concern is protecting the reputation of the congregation. I think it's paragraph 4, paragraph 5. That's how the paragraph starts, and I'm quoting it verbatim.
Yeah. I think we want to protect the children,
right,
the congregation, Jehovah's name, but
not in that order.
We hate.
I get that.
Acts. I think the fact that this has gone out throughout the world, the same weekend, every congregation has studied that and reviewed it, and we will continue to. And we are, I mean, as an elder, I can tell you that we are in receipt of more information than perhaps the congregation get at times, because we get that legal information coming through.
Yeah. Plus you've got shepherding God's flock and all the rest of it.
Absolutely, but we have that because clearly as an organisation we don't want to tolerate it.
No.
There's no place that in life.
Are you aware of why they had to make the changes that they made?
Well, there's the legal side of things. We have to stay legal, so we have to have a policy document that's up to date. And the laws of the land change every year.
Yeah, but
so
do you know specifically why Watchtower have had to change their policies regarding child abuse? Do you know about like things like the Australian Royal Commission? Have you heard about that?
Yes, it's a worldwide concern. I'm sure if every organisation that has some contact with children followed through similar steps, it would certainly get rid of a lot of these cases.
See what all the others did, because I followed it very obviously. You were case study 29, but it also went through the Catholics, the Protestants, the Baptists. It went through all of the different religions, and when Jeffrey Jackson was being interviewed there, they started off the thing by saying, "Do you accept this is a free and fair trial, and we're not having a go at you? This isn't apostate lies." He said that because of Stephen Lett's video, which he had released the previous week, saying, "Don't listen to rumors of paedophilia; it's all apostate lies." In the same month that Jeffrey Jackson was giving evidence on the problem of... I mean, first off, does that not strike you as a little bit duplicitous? Answer me honestly.
A lot of things, Daniel, obviously get taken out of context, and I'm sure you're aware of that. That we could have a conversation now, and you could hang on to one phrase and then turn that round and say, well, this chap said this, and you just isolate it. And so that could sound completely different to what the whole message is.
I listened to 5 days worth of testimony from including people like Spinks, who's the head of the legal department in Australia, etc. Yeah. But I mean, the thing is that
and you say you obviously were affected here.
I was affected in Newton Abbot congregation, and the elders told. I don't want to go into my story, but exactly what came out in the Australian Royal Commission is exactly what happened with we're keeping an eye on him. That was the advice that we were given. Now, my concern is, and I'm not here to have a go at people. I'm here because I care about this.
Exactly.
I care in my heart about this. The thing is, in that Watchtower, it says you need to ring the legal department. The court cases have all said you need to change it so that you bring the police first in every case and let them deal with it because they are capable of dealing with it. And 3 elders in the room are not capable of dealing with it.
Yeah. But I think you'll have seen, obviously, in the article, the standpoint is that we are not there to interfere with any police procedure.
No.
Our only authorities in a spiritual sense.
Exactly, which is why it should be passed directly onto the police.
Absolutely.
but as you just said, and I'm not trying to catch you out. I'm not here to have a go at you. I'm here in love.
Seeing a bit, Sid.
I'm here in love. I promise you, Christopher. I'm here in love. Yeah. Your Watchtower article again doesn't do what the court said. It doesn't say, well, we will ring the police. It says we will ring the legal department, and they will tell us if we have a legal duty to tell the police.
Well, there is a reason I expect why that procedure is followed through. And in fact, what they've said is because that's a worldwide article. So clearly, in some countries, the procedure to be followed is different legally than in others. And so that's why. And the law changes without us, we are not students of the law.
Okay.
So imagine here in England, there's a legal implication, something changes, and we ring that department. They actually are lawyers, and they are well informed, and their interest is to protect the children. It is not about...
I would take exceptions to that because of the 1,006 paedophiles that were caught in Australia on Watchtower's records in Australia. The 1,006 were never handed over to the police. They had to subpoena the information. I mean, that's publicly available. So the legal department. But that was a list.
But that's in Australia. I can't talk about a different. I've lived in Australia, but I can't talk about.
Of course, but that was
there.
1,006 just in Australia. That obviously is the same principle all around the world.
Yeah.
But that was 1,006. It's not people who the authorities thought. That's 1,006 that Watchtower accepted were paedophiles and they were on their quote watch list. That they not one single one of them 1,006 was ever reported to the police. So my concern is that when you report it to the legal department and they say, oh, you've got a legal duty or you haven't got a legal duty, what I would say is nowhere in the world is it illegal to report paedophilia.
Exactly. In fact, that was my take, and I particularly like that fact that they said that anybody who becomes aware can report it.
Yeah.
So as an organisation, we're not saying don't report. But there are.
I mean, Shepherd in the God's Flock, but before it was changed, did actually say that make sure they know it will bring reproof on Jehovah's name. We've read the entire Shepherd in the God's Flock book. It was made available, publicly available during the court case. So it's on one hand you can say yes. I mean, the reason they actually changed the thing about you make sure the families know they have a right to report was because of a case called Candice Conti over in America, where she was told she shouldn't report it, and because of that £35 million payout or whatever it was, they had to change the law. They're not changing these laws because it's helpful. They're changing laws because they're legally bound to. But another part, I've got to go back to work. I don't take up too much.
I've got to go also.
Yeah, I know, but my point is this: you can report it to the police. In your article on Sunday, it says that reporting it to the police does not go against the word of God. So my question to you is,
what you read what Paul said, didn't you? That he was free of guilt against the Jewish law, against the synagogue, and against Caesar.
Yep.
So absolutely.
Caesar's law is so it's never against God's law to report it to the police.
The law of the Christ is about protection and security.
Yeah, and protect the widows and the orphans. But so if that's the case, then why do you not report it in every single case to the police? If it doesn't go against the Bible and it does protect children, why would you not report it to the police instead of a legal department?
Obviously, Daniel, I can't talk about every case because I'm not aware of every case.
No, but I'm talking about a hypothetical way where someone reports it to you and you've just told me that, again, I'm not having a go at you, I just want to understand. You've just told me that you wouldn't call the police, you would call the legal department. Now, as you know, in the Shepherd in God's Flock book, it still says that if there's no second witness coming forward and there is no confession, then you must leave it in Jehovah's hands. End quote. Yeah. No.
That's in a spiritual sense, but obviously, as you've seen, we would talk to if we felt absolutely certain that person was, and that there was no even sometimes the judicials can't find any proof because perhaps it's something that's come up later on. Absolutely, so there's no physical evidence.
Your remit, you can't do DNA tests, you don't know how to talk to children that have been affected, stuff like that.
But in that case, all we can do is then warn other families if we really felt sure that, from what we'd heard, and even from the police investigation in such matters, then we would just do our best to protect the people. Because there is equally if you knew your child was in a school and there was somebody working in that school that you felt was, but there was no proof. You've got the choice then, take them out of that school, but you put them into another school, the same situation could occur there, I mean, it is a really difficult situation.
Let me throw this
isn't
back to you, and then I need to leave.
Yeah,
So say that your child goes to that school you've just been talking about, this hypothetical school. Say that your child comes back to you and says that I was abused in the restroom of that school, etc., etc. You ring up the school, and the school says, I'm sorry, there wasn't a second witness to that, so we're not going to take this any further. How would that make you feel?
Yeah, no, well, I would do what I would do, which is ring the police.
Yes, but
You know.
as a parent, would you not expect the school to do that, as they have loco parentis?
Yeah. And that's why we have that.
Which is why I make the point that
That's why it said it is there for anybody who comes into the earshot of that. That is their absolute legal right.
It's a legal right, but it's not what you put down in your procedures. Your procedure to ring the legal department. This is the crux of what I'm getting to. You still don't ring the police.
But that's the same as any religious minister.
No, that was changed.
Well,
the other churches during the Australian Royal Commission all submitted to the changes that are suggested by the court. They all
Australia.
did. In Australia, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, mate, you can talk about Condé, you can talk about Montana, you can talk about San Diego, you can talk about the cases going on in England
spend
right
forever
now.
looking at all these cases.
Yeah, and every other church has changed its rules to say that they will always. I mean, it's interesting as well that the Jehovah's Witnesses brought up the clergy privilege, and they tried to say that we don't have to report it because when people report it to us, it's the same as a confessional. So it comes under clergy privilege. First off, it's interesting that they would want to associate themselves with the clergy after growing up and hearing what they talk about, being the wild beast, etc., etc. But well,
that. I mean, obviously, Daniel.
Secondly,
I'm sort of going to walk this way because I've got to go back.
That's all right. I'll walk with you because I'm walking this way as well.
But
is it standard procedure for everyone to sort of walk away when someone's asking dodgy questions?
No. I'm going to be late for an appointment.
Okay. Yeah. It's just very interesting that still it hasn't changed. They still won't change it, even though it would definitely protect the child. I mean, I'm going to finish when I get to this corner because I have to go to my van. But I mean, the thing that, have you actually seen the Australian Royal Commission?
I've seen some of it.
Okay, well, it's nice that you've seen it because obviously you're not supposed to watch it or whatever. But did you notice the bit that came up when they were talking about the two-witness rule, and they talked about the lady who's in the field and gets raped, but there's no one around, but the person should still be killed. She doesn't need a second witness.
No, I didn't see that.
Okay, so in Deuteronomy when it's talking about it's talking about the second witness, it says that if a woman lies with a man inside the city walls, then they should both be stoned, so she cries out, whatever. But if she's in the field and no one's around to hear her scream, then it should be just the man that's killed, and her word should be taken as truthful. Now that surely is precisely what should apply to children. Do you understand the point they make?
Good point.
Do you know what I mean? Because there is no...
I understand what you're saying.
And it's just a little bit confusing and annoying that they still say that our primary concern is looking after the reputation of the congregation rather than protecting the children. You know,
I'd have to read beyond. I've read it in Spanish because I'm in the Spanish group, so I couldn't tell you.
Oh, you know my brother-in-law David then?
Yes. Yeah. So I'd have to go back and review it, Daniel.
No worries.
But I wasn't aware what happened to you, and I'm very sorry about that.
Yeah, well, not many people are, and it's not something I talk about. I would like to make a point that there are people who actually got properly abused. I was not properly abused. I was groomed. I was groomed. It didn't actually go in. I don't want to liable myself by making accusations at this point. But I was in a situation which years later was like, oh my God, that could have been very, very dangerous. Yeah. But when we spoke to them about it, we've got an eye on him. We keep getting an eye on him. That same brother, by the way, is still going to all the children's parties and everything and taking photographs. I still know people in the organisation that still see him on a regular basis taking photographs of kids at parties. That's a separate issue, do you know what I mean? But there's the policies.
I understand. Look, there's no doubt. None of us could feel exactly like you feel unless we lived what you've lived. So that's obviously that's an obvious thing, isn't it? But I will think about what you've said, Daniel. Okay.
Yeah, no problems. Well, thank you
and
for your
it's
time.
nice to meet you anyway.
Yes, you too. Thank you.
Take care.
Say hello to my brother-in-law and sister for me. I'm not allowed to.